gentlemen, to Season 2 of the North American Challenger League. I am Reed Rapid Melton, and with me is Chris Studio Grant. We're into our fourth game of the night as email support. Your team in the red take on LMQ, Tianzi Ibai Power, your team in the blue. And also in the blue is their mid laner, Zhao. I guess it's more of a purple, playing Kassadin versus Telecast's Talon.
Now, there's two things we didn't mention. One, that Talon has really cool loading art, which you're not going to see often. And two, Azingi is in the jungle as Kassadin. And Jungle Kassadin, it's got a lot of problems. For
Karthus.
The Ks. I'm confusing all the Ks. Jungle Kassadin's a bit iffier. Jungle Karthus, though, we've seen it from him in the past. He's very efficient with those Skittles. It's all about kind of kiting and not necessarily fighting the minions in the jungle head-on, but rather pulling it back, fighting those monsters, and making them really get abused in terms of their AI. But Azingi in the jungle, he's going to be very susceptible to Karthus, or to Kassadin, if he cannot juke him once Kassadin hits level 6. His job is going to be to kind of farm it up, stay very passively, maybe go for some side lane ganks, but avoid Zhao at all costs.
Now, this is actually not the first time that these two teams have faced off. I believe they actually played in the qualifiers, and Tepname actually wound up losing. If I'm misremembering that, then I am, but if I'm not, then consequently I am not. And with the jungle Karthus coming out, maybe not something that LMQ has really...
Not quite.
Not almost there. Maybe not. The jungle Karthus, maybe not something that LMQ has really practiced against too much, because really only Azingi plays that. But he is so good at that champion. You'll actually see him do a few weird things. You should expect the Spirited Spectral Wraith into Tear of the Goddess and then Rush Rylai's after that. But it's where he gets the gold to get all those items. And that's by heavily taxing his lanes and picking up a ton of kills for himself. Of course, that's what Karthus does anyways, but it's nice to see it being done from the jungle.
And to note, he actually does have decent ganks. Odd to say. Jungle Karthus, though, once he gets the Wall of Pain, you toss that down, it works out very efficiently. You can see the mid lane Telecast and Zhao trading. Telecast will win the auto attack trades. Zhao, though, has a lot of good
Dragon Raider going in with a very early ignite onto Ackerman. Not able to follow up with anything else, but just getting some extra dominance established up there in that top lane.
And that Lee Sin versus Renekton matchup right now is actually Renekton's time to get bullied around. Lee Sin, he's got the early burst, he's got the early damage. Lee Sin with the attack speed boost and just the fantastic level 1 damage of all of his skills or their effects means he can just keep pressuring, keep damaging Ackerman. Actually has level on and might go for a follow-up resonating strike. Doesn't quite land it, though.
Yeah, misses it, and that will kind of signal a little bit of back off time in that top lane. But and Dragon Raider's not taking any prisoners, going all offensive in the early game. A lot of offensiveness in that middle lane as Telecast continues to trade out against Zhao. Kassadin, even without any Doran's Ring, has 35 ability power to start the game. That means that if you do pick up a Doran's Ring to start the game, you walk into lane with 50 AP, and that's a little...
That's crazy. That is
high.
Ridiculous damage. But what's going to really punish Zhao is his mana consumption. Actually, Dragon Raider taking down very low.
Ignites down in there. We got a Zingy coming in. It's going to trade some damage right back onto No Name.
Skittles.
Hits one, misses the second, hits the second one. No Name's going to drop down very low, dodges that third Skittle that really would have signaled maybe a little bit more aggression, but a lot of nice damage there from the gank from Azingi, even if it didn't wind up giving him a kill.
And what was really cool by Azingi there is he actually got an auto attack off as Karthus, which is almost impossible, but that applies the red buff. And the red buff slow means it's easier to land a Skittle, maybe get one more lay waste in, and they might have been able to blow a flash on No Name had it happen. Tepname shields the stun. Can he escape?
Oh, he's going to go in there, but as we see auto attack after auto attack landing from Vasily, just not enough to pick up that kill. Nice spell shield of that stun, and that's actually kind of uncharacteristic for Moore because usually he'll wait that out. First blood going to Kassadin. There's a flash in there from Azingi. It's those red buff auto attacks. Trying to land the Skittles flash out there from No Name. Is Azingi going to go in on this to get the silence down there? Are they going to try to kite this without No Name? Gets in there for the venomous spike. One more Skittle. It's going to be enough to trade for the 1-4-1 exchange.
In the meantime, it looks like Tepname or Sivir going to go ahead, pick up a kill in exchange for her Lulu's life. In the end, a 1-for-1 still in favor of email support because it is the AD carry still alive left in lane, just going to farm it up and try and deny as much CS and gold as possible. I mean, very solid gank at the mid lane. Talon doesn't really have any decent escape until he hits level 6, and even then he is at risk of Vision Wards or any sort of the Vision Revealing Trinket at level 9. So until he really gets farther along in levels, he's very susceptible to that Elise gank, and when you chain that in with a Kassadin Silence, Kassadin Slow, there's a lot of combined CC between No Name and Zhao to lock him down in place. You can see, though, Zingy, even though he was behind, even though he was being chased out by 2, he has got some insane damage. It is that Karthus burst. It is still amazing, even if it's in the jungle, even if it's in the mid lane. So one of those Skittles, let's see how much damage one of those will actually dish out. I want to say it's going to be about maybe 200 or so at this point in the game.
Well, at this point, with only 20 ability power, he's making that count. Yeah, you can see Lei Wei's starting to deal about 86 magic damage. That's doubled.
Yeah, it's doubled. So about 172. Fight in the mid lane. Wall of Pain does come down. Not going to really hurt anybody, though. We do see some Blood Trail coming on to Elise. They need to get Kassadin, or they need to get Talon to that level 6 for that burst, and then Karthus can try and follow up with either one Lei Waste or his ultimate. But until then, it's going to be just a very difficult duel in the mid lane. It's hard to really fight early on his Talon just because of a Kassadin silence.
Wall goes out, gets the slow on a no-name Killicast in there for some damage, but Zhao coming in from the side gets an area of effect slow there with the Force Pulse, but can't follow it up anything just yet. More looking to go aggressive through that minion line, but takes a lot of damage in return. Killicast, though, the one taking that damage in the middle lane, grabs up only that longsword versus the start is a Catalyst the Protector. First item bought there for Zhao.
Yeah, Wei Zhao ahead by 9 CS at this point, 10 actually, and it's just enough to give him a dominance in lane. That extra regeneration from Catalyst is going to be massive. He'll hit level 6, actually has hit level 6, has max HP, max mana, and he can keep bullying around a Talon who will not have his ultimate for a little while. So this is just a moment of high pressure. There is no response from Talon. It's just a rough matchup. Bot lane initiation, though.
There it is, the right on the normalize. No spell shield there to block absolutely anything. Just the burst onto Lulu. And, I mean, still Vasily starting to lose a bunch of HP here. Zhao trying to push Talon underneath his turret, just dropping that harass on to the melee assassin. Actually going to jump in there onto Zhao, but Killicast just going to use that ultimate to clear out the wave.
And the ultimate does have a relatively short cooldown. Not quite as short as Kassadin's, but it is a faster cooldown compared to others. So it will be used defensively. It's not the best situation, but it means he's getting some farm. He'll be able to go ahead and pick up that pickaxe, which gets him a little bit more closer to that Tiamat, a little bit more reliable. Karthus is being pressured in the jungle at his blue buff. You can kind of see the minimap. You know, people kind of hovering around looking for that pickoff. Let's see who actually did pick it up. Looks like it is safe and secure on Zingy as he finishes off little lizards himself. We haven't really seen a whole lot come out of top lane recently. There was that initial pressure, but you can see that at this point Renekton is just dominating the lane. But this happens with Renekton versus Lee Sin. We saw this a lot from Coast last season, actually. They would send Zion Spartan as Lee Sin top lane. Lee Sin would probably get bullied till around maybe the 15-minute mark, and then eventually he would get enough lifesteal and just duel Renekton down, despite the fact that Renekton had item advantage, just because Lee Sin has so much base lifesteal and high damage.
Speaking of lifesteal and damage, the top lane matchup between Dragon Raider and Ackerman is one that Ackerman wins off of burst, but Dragon Raider has so much sustain. You can see, I believe he's actually maxing out that safeguard into Iron Will. Yeah, he's actually putting splitting points between that and the Tempest Cripple just to get that extra magic damage up there. There's the burst I'm talking about. Dragon Raider goes down. Ackerman finally getting an aggressive champion instead of just being stuck on that Dr. Mundo every game and making it count. Initiation there in the mid lane. Is Killicast still getting that damage down on to Zhao, but in the bottom it's normalized. Gonna get caught out there. Runs, trying to block that vision out there, but runs right into a warded bush. He's gonna go down, and now it's up to Zig to try to turn the damage back. Can't do it, and that's a clean kill in the bottom lane for, it was actually Vasily that took it down.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you are a Lulu going up against Leona Ezreal, Ezreal is one of the best burst champions in the game if you have that clear line of sight, because you can land a Mystic Shot, you can also land that True Shot Barrage. But unfortunately, initiation onto Sivir is blocked by the spell shield.
It's going to try to pick up Vasily, but it wasn't able to connect for enough damage. That was, if you land, Killicast is coming down. That's why that Ezekiel was coming in there. Vasily's going to go down, and with an on the hunt, given the movement speed of Killicast, to chase in on to more. That's going to be 2 easy kills for Killicast. And keep in mind 2 assists there for Zingy. Actually, wait, okay, yeah, he did get those 2 assists, so nice job picking up some extra gold from long range. The jungle Karthus ults, ganks from the jungle. Doesn't even need coming in.
I mean, that is the pressure. You can always be ganked by jungle Karthus. You can see Ackerman, he's still fighting Dragon Raider. Dragon Raider is not stopping, and this is because he's trying to play this long, sustained fight. He doesn't want to kill Renekton in one burst because he knows he can't. So instead, he's just trying to lifesteal, keep spamming that safeguard, keep trying to stay regen, Unfortunately, Ackerman got that advantage. He now has no name to back him up, too. Dragon Raider forced to flash, no ultimate as well.
And Dragon Raider actually just used the safeguard for the Iron Will pass. It gets it right back up. He's trying to kite this back away, but with red buffed auto attacks coming in, it's Ackerman getting a spin to win. Victory over Dragon Raider for his second kill in a row.
And the Meek has been cold, unfortunately. Top lane turret being pressured now by Ackerman and No Name. Should be able to take this down very soundly. The lanes are starting to fall apart, and Lee Sin, if he does fall too far behind versus Renekton, he does not get the sustain. He does not get enough regeneration. He does not get enough damage to actually duel out and out-sustain versus Renekton. So if Renekton can just stay top lane, they don't need him to roam, especially when they have a Cassidy that can do enough roaming for an entire team on his own. He's just going to sit up there, get fat, and keep chomping on Lee Sin, and Lee Sin can't really do a whole lot for a good 15-20 minutes. And even then, if he's too far behind, he still will not win that duel versus Renekton. You need to survive early game. You cannot lose the early lane this hard, though. A 35 CS lead for Ackerman.
And he has that Tiamat, too, which means he doesn't actually fight minions anymore. They just die around him when it gets activated. Each one of those auto attacks, and that's going to be a rough lane for Dragon Raider. So when Lee Sin gets ahead, he's one of the most abusive champions to lane about. And I played a game with Studio where he knows all about how well that matchup goes. But if it's the other way around, he loses just as hard. So Ackerman's going to be able to put on a ton of pressure there, but can't forget about the mid lane and I guess the bottom lane too, that carry lineup for LMQ, because it's never been about the early game for LMQ, whether they win it very hard or lose it very hard, as we got to see this last weekend when they played in the NACS finals. No matter how hard they win or lose the early game, Killicast going to stealth his way out of there. Zhao Weizhao will not be able to follow him underneath that turret, but it's the Renekton ganks.
He was thinking about that movement, by the way. He was thinking about maybe it can't go underneath the turret, kind of hanging around just in case. But chasing down a talent like that is very risky. But that's just pressure. Like, he goes down for a second. We're not going to use the Slice and Dice, a 14-second cooldown, and blows Talon's ultimate in response. That is just some brief map pressure. He can still roam top lane, catch all of that CS that was pushing towards his turret, pick that up, and pressure Lee Sin even more. So it's a brief rotation. It doesn't accomplish a whole lot. Like, you're not going to see a turret fall off that. You're not going to see a kill come off that. But it accomplishes enough so that email support is still on the defensive. Like, Killicast still has to play by his turret, still has to dodge as much damage as he can from Cassidy. And he doesn't have lifesteal. He doesn't have a lot of sustain versus that Cassidy. So any null sphere that lands is going to be huge in the long term.
And right now, it's the short term there in the bottom lane that matters for Vasily. He's got a gank coming in, although No Name right behind is there if he needs it. It's a nice trade there, but I think it's Jungle Karthus right on time. Walks through a ward, though, and will be forced to walk right out of that lane. Both mid laners, though, looking to get that posturing on that bottom lane. Spell Shield's going to be good there for Zig, but a huge slow drop down. True shot barrage, Vasily able to get in there with a nice kill onto Zig. And Azingi had just now walked out. We're going to head back to bottom lane right now. As Killicast going to jump in onto Zhao Weizhao. Word over the wall there for more. There's a poke from Vasily, able to catch out and normalize. Finds him out there in that Tri-Brush. Zingi's got some damage down onto the white, but he's going to lose his blue buff. And blue buff invade against the Karthus that's pretty devastating. Force the flash away from that cocoon. A lot of pressure from No Name will deny just about everything you can take from Zingi.
I mean, they could have tried to fight that, could have tried to defend the blue buff, but they don't really have a tank front line in that initiation. So it would be Karthus rushing forward, dying. But Azingi doesn't really have that much damage right now. No Name might be in a bit of danger, though. Does have Repel available. Here comes the Azingi. Wall of Pain. The flash will not be stopped, though. He is quite slow, as he actually just looks for a ward immediately after flashing over to see if he can camp that brush or not.
He's already thinking more aggressively about that. Okay, Dragon Raider hits that big blue Wraith, but that's not what he's looking for. He's getting the 2v1 onto Ackerman, who will slice and dice away. Big slow there from Zhao Weizhao, but Azingi comes through with a nice Wall of Pain. No further follow-up from email support, and actually Zhao Weizhao just continue to kite out Dragon Raider. He's silenced, he's getting those nether blades on there, aptly named, blading his nethers and taking him down for the 8th kill of the game on LMQ.
Rest in peace, Dragon's nethers. Now, they could have actually escaped that safely. Dragon split off from his team, though, and they spotted that, meaning that Cassin could go with the solo pickoff. But the second Cassin got away, the second he flashed, they knew that Weizhao was going to make it away because of that Rift Walk. It is just so hard to chase him down if you do not have, you almost need a Zac or something funny like a Master Yi to chase him on straight ground. And going through trees, it's one of the harder champions unless you have like an Ezreal, and he's going to die in a second or two. So good flash from Weizhao, kept him alive. Good silence comes out from Killicast, but a good reaction means that Weizhao will make that with Riftwalk in time. It is a 4-kill advantage for LMQ. They are ahead by 1 turret and about 3,500 gold. But the real issue here is just how scary Cassian can become. He's always at ticking time bomb. He's always at champion. That in an even game, you go, that guy will probably win the game as long as he doesn't die. And we can see already why Zhao knows how to play defensively while still maintaining enough pressure on offense to get in that poke, get in that burst, get in those kills.
Ackerman just doing a cute little trick there to take care of that ward. The top lane, we've got bottom lane action as Killicast tries to get in there, has to throw down that ultimate, doesn't get a cut through to follow it up. Jungle Karthus ganks a little bit less effective that time around, but still the same idea. Trying to put a lot of pressure on that bottom lane, but LMQ responding very, very well. Staying it safe, playing it safe, and Trinity Force completed there on the Vasily, rushing that instead of a Bloodthirster.
Now, Moore has a Giants build already, which means that with the Eclipse, he's not taking a lot of damage. It's so efficient that he will not be bursted down. And because Ezreal's so slippery, still has barrier, it means that even though they can use the Karthus ult for some extra damage, they're not getting a kill. But that pressure did let them take the dragon.
And that's something that LMQ just aren't used to. They don't know how to play against that jungle Karthus because you don't really have to put on pressure to dragon when you're smashing the bottom lane, but you're not really expecting to go up against a jungler that can take down a dragon almost solo in just a few seconds.
I mean, think about it. Think about how fast Karthus kills dragon. He just needs someone to tank it out.
Ackerman gets in there,
steal.
gets the red buff. The steal is too good for Dragon Raider. Does throw down that Dragon's Rage, and I think that's an appropriately named spell after having that buff stolen away.
The Elder Lizard will go towards Ackerman, and that's actually huge just because if he does catch out Dragon on his own, guess what? He's not getting away reliably without using a ward, without using his trinket, or without just blowing a flash. And he's still going for that chase.
Ackerman,
Dragon
leave
Raider,
him alone.
He has to queue over the wall, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to get him.
Oh, through that
Ignite,
shield,
Ignite.
the Stand United. It's not going to be enough. Ignite takes him down. Now Zingi's not in the right place to be. Ackerman's going to take some additional damage. Skittles will land, and Zingi's actually going to be able to kill off Ackerman. No, it's the double kill over the wall. And no, I don't think Lulu has enough to take him down there. Killicast gets in for finally the kill, but it's a triple for Zhao Wei Zhao. No Name comes in for the ace. And LMQ 17 minutes into the game go up 13-5.
The clean 5-for-1. Ackerman starting off a fight by chasing Lee Sin through 2 turrets on their side of the base. Fantastic, fantastic presence. You can see that they grouped up faster, and with their burst, with the early damage from Elise, the early burst damage Leona provides, and of course, why Zhao, just so mobile over the walls, he was able to back up Ackerman, keep him alive long enough to secure those kills. And they do give up Ackerman, but that was Killicast going on his own, sacrificing his life to pick up 1 kill, which is totally fine for that trade. 2 more turrets go down in the meantime. Now 3 turrets up versus 0 for email support. They're just so mobile. They're so fast in the jungle. We mentioned this in Champion Select. It's a slippery team. Ezreal. How easy is it to catch an Ezreal?
I'd say fairly difficult.
Fairly difficult. And how easy is it for Ezreal if he sees that moment to go in and punish a team out of position?
Probably as easy as it is difficult to catch him.
Exactly, and that's their movement. They're not afraid to use Vasily aggressively for those arcane shifts. They're not afraid for Wai Zhao if he sees that moment. Just say, go in, you'll probably survive. If you don't, you'll get enough kills anyways. And it's an aggressive movement. It's the ability to use defensive spells so offensively that is just giving them such an advantage in those small, brief engagements. The rotations are also amazing. They're grouped up faster and more efficiently than email support is right now, and that is just something that is learned over a lot of practice, a lot of experience, and a lot of skills.
Now, Killicast has been able to find some kills, and while he's not quite on that Kassadin level, he's ahead of everybody else on his team. Has all that damage. It's going to be up to him to maybe put a little bit of additional pressure on Vasily. You can't arcane shift if you're silenced. The unfortunate part about that is the way CC stacking works. If you've already queued up the arcane shift when you get silenced, you can still arcane shift out of it afterwards. It's kind of like when you see Ezreal's disjoint a Blitzcrank grab with an arcane shift. Still works with silence, so you might still see reaction time sufficient enough to get him away. But the silence, I like it because it limits the mobility that Vasily has, Zhao Wei Zhao has, and keeps those big mobile champions in place, maybe long enough to take him out.
Now, unfortunately, for email support, they don't have a lot of hard CC to back up that silence, though. They have the ultimate from Lee Sin, the ultimate from Lulu, and then also the Transmogrify from that Whimsy. So they have a little bit of CC, good single target stuff, but nothing that can really match up to the range and reliability of, let's say, an Elise stun or the very high, very reliable CC from a Renekton. Once you use a slice and dice, Dragon Raider is also getting hit by that reliable CC.
More baits out that last minion kill, and just with enough stun and CC, Dragon Raider safeguarding himself back away more. Takes one too many turret shots, and it's going to be forced back to base after that one. Might actually stay in there. Killicast trying to drop as much damage as he can. Gets that silence onto Vasily, and there's actually Zig coming in from behind. Has a lot of damage. There's on the hunt. Will this be enough damage from Zingi's jungle? Karthus, not enough damage.
It was interrupted by the snipe.
True shot barrage. Vasily doesn't even have to be on the screen to pick up kills. And there's a re-engage there by No Name. Zhao gets in there for one, and it's another snipe from Vasily going full Lomo behind the turret. It's Ackerman coming in there for the kill on Killicast. Can they take him through? It's another Mystic shot, not able to shag that kill for himself. Ackerman's going to get that one. Taking him down off the wall. Just incredible play. LMQ, not quite another ace, but 4 for 0 exchange.
Yeah, 4 for 0, very clean. The Karthus ultimate was not enough because the barrier popped from Vasily. As Dragon Raider has gone into a 2v1. I recognize this 2v1 from top lane a second ago. Ultimate not quite available for himself. Ackerman going to chase this down. He's a bit too tanky. The Leona CC will also help secure this kill on Dragon Raider if he cannot escape. Does not have his trinket available as well, but does have an incredible slow from his cripple.
He doesn't have any wards, more importantly, so there's nowhere for him to jump. Just gets cut down, and it's Ackerman's 6th kill of the game.
6-1-4, that one death, of course, was to set up an ace for his own team. 10,000 gold lead, or just about, in favor of LMQ right now. What is the plan for email support? They have to make something happen. They keep getting into jungle fights. They cannot let that happen. They probably need to just make an aggressive play. Try and cut some wards. Tepdane barely surviving. Can they fight this?
Zhao goes in somewhat aggressively into a 1v3, grabs a kill, and it's like... Killicast just died on his way into the fight, and apparently killed my vocal cords along with it, so I'm going to grab myself some pure honey from Colorado's western slope. Also happens to be raw and unfiltered, as Zingi's going to take that true shot barrage right to the face. Vasily putting to rest the argument, proving it once more that you can Lomo more than just once.
Glad to hear that's finally been decided. Now,
I mean, I'm so tired of people telling me you
it's
only Lomo once.
Very heated debate, but the Lomo, it has only occurred many times this match. Dragon Raider will be going down. He will Lomo many times if that actually burn damage.
Oh, another one. I think he actually got that kill off of the arcane shift. And now Vasily, the target of Killicast's aggression, won't go down. It's still going to be bleeding things out there, but almost heals a little bit too much for that to be effective. Ackerman going for another dive. There's no mystery there. It's going to be a... Oh my gosh, this damage is too ridiculous. I almost want to see like a full offensive build there from Ackerman, but he has decided to put some mercy on the team and grab himself that distortion upgrade. Oh,
wait, what? All right, he's gone.
Killicast, please respond. Are you okay? No response needed. Might need to call some EMTs there. That's why we have EGAD, our resident EMT, waiting on the side off stage. We'll have to call him in there for Killicast because
Zingi,
he's gonna need a doctor.
He's got nothing. Like, he will have his a little bit of tankiness, but he's just gonna die. It's the burst. It's just too much damage from Wai Zhao. He has reached the death cap. Rod of Ages almost has a void staff as well. This is why every time Kassadin is picked, everybody says, "I hope they can contain him," because if not, he does that. He does that across the board. And with the Karthus pickup, it is such a squishy champion that you can't really build tanky because you kind of negate the passive as well. That you're just going to die in any one-on-one engagement, and he'll die almost instantly in team fights as well. Thing is, he doesn't have enough damage in a team fight to be relevant just because of how poorly the game has gone for email support. Now, at this point, I really just want to see Wai Zhao go across the map and just Goomba stomp every enemy champion into the ground. But LMQ can keep playing aggressively, stay in the jungle, kind of just try and hunt people there and push out lanes very briefly if they ever get a kill or a catch.
And one of these days, somebody's going to tell Zhao about AP Tristana, and the world is never going to be the same. You've never seen Goombas jumping until you've seen that. Ackerman down to half hit points. Something tells me Zingi not really in a good place, but does take out No Name. There's a nice solar flare, as more is going to get in there, and what more could you ask for than that kind of support? As Zhao takes that Karthus damage and waits for Zingi to die before going back in here, as a couple of stacks of Rift walk up, going to look to get in onto Dragon Raider or Zig. Drops that silence up, takes him down to half health. The Talon damage, though, jumping in onto Zhao, forcing him to jump away. Dragon Raider will miss that. Zhao's just going to turn around for the auto attack. Does get shut down there, but Vasily is there for the revenge kill on the Killicast.
Vasily with the cleanup. And of course, if you're wondering about Wai Zhao's damage that lost auto attack, Netherblade does incredibly high amounts of damage, especially when you have built up some AP. But that was a terrible fight for LMQ. They were caught out in the jungle. They gave up 2 kills almost immediately. We actually saw Dragon Raider go from 0-6-0 to having 4 assists. He's finally contributed to the kills in this game. And even then, it was not enough. Just because Vasily was not in the fight at all, it was essentially a 4v5, and they still barely lost it in the end before Vasily came and played cleanup. Now that that mid turret's almost down, they can just try and siege it up, try and dive it up if they feel necessary. They can really just have Waijiao roam around and do what he wants as the rest of the team can pressure an objective. And if Waijiao picks up a kill, then that's awesome. He probably lost no HP just because it took less than half a second. The cast and burst, the casting damage, it is insane. It is unstoppable. He almost has Zonias as he has also built the Seeker's Arm Guard, so he's just reaching that point of unstoppability.
Man, leave it up to Zhao to not only have the most kills, but also the most CS in the game at 215. No questions asked, flash there over the wall from Azingi. He's going to get out of dodge that way.
I feel like Azingi, if he just died there, it'd almost be easier for him because he wouldn't have to be in this next team fight. But he still has to show up
really
now.
wants to be in this next team fight. You can see them kind of wincing under the pressure coming through that turret. Ackerman's still very, very strong, looking to get in there. Has picked up that brutalizer. That's what I was expecting, the double offensive itemization. Moore's going to take that turret up, but nice engage there. Dragon Raider, though, dies before the fight even starts. Zinky will go down, still effective as an AoE field of slow, because he does have a Rylai's Crystal Scepter, but it's not going to be that effective as Moore and Ackerman are just way too far ahead. There's actually the flash in from Ackerman. He's going to get some assists as Normalize goes down the hard way. Moore's taking up those double Nexus turrets, which is a little bit too much for him at this point, but that's still going to be some nice kills. Vasily Lobo's under the turret. Arcade shifts back out, and that is a dead Zig underneath there. Step name 03005 is to find himself maybe some different numbers there, as those are not really working out. Ackerman takes out one Nexus turret. Only Steve left in there. Here's the Requiem coming in. It's going to drop some long-range slow, but more.
That Negatron cloak doing work. Vasily himself quite low as well, and Waijiao with that pass will be extra safe. But, I mean, you know what? Baron's up. Email support, I think it's time. Do it. Just go ahead and do it. Go Nike this up, because honestly, is their only chance. Vasily is low, actually. If they could catch him out, Moore's also low as well. Dragon Raider might die before he can do anything, though. He got more, at least.
He did get more, but didn't get any more than more, if you want to look at it that way. And while they got Vasily low, he added a mode at the end of that one and wound up getting out with a kill. So while it's 1-for-1, and that's an okay place to be, Azingi and Killicast have another place to be. And
this is going to get brutal in a second, because here comes Waijiao.
Here comes Waijiao. Oh, Zhao, don't do it.
Oh, he didn't go in. He didn't go in the pit.
He doesn't know.
That's okay, because Baron's going to kill them on their own anyways, as they're barely surviving. They're actually...
Oh, he's coming in.
This is going to be it. The Baron pit, it's in progress. Can they survive this? No. Azingi, run! Azingi, run!
He's going to try to get that Baron damage onto Zhao. And Killicast just pieces the scene. The game's already over. It was a worthwhile attempt, but in the end, it's just not enough. And